All right, well, hello everyone and happy Tuesday. It's digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four. Of course, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Wherever you're watching Before the Four this afternoon, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, as always, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your Tuesday afternoon here. Now let's begin in Lauderdale County, where a 27-year-old pedestrian was sadly hit and killed last night. The pedestrian was pronounced dead on the scene after being hit just before 10 o'clock on Lauderdale County Road 87. Sheriff Joe Hamilton says a witness told investigators that the victim in the car was with his two siblings before an argument occurred. The witness says they and the pedestrian got out of the car and began walking. That's when the witness says their 29-year-old brother hit him with a car and fled the scene. A short time later, the vehicle was found unoccupied at County Road 14 and 15 near Oakland. Investigators went to the scene and processed the vehicle. A concerned citizen reported to law enforcement that the suspect was in the area. He was located and later arrested. He was charged with manslaughter and leaving the scene of an accident. The suspect is currently being held in the Lauderdale County Detention Center. And 48's Faith Delp will have more details coming up in our evening newscasts. But now we got to talk about the weather. It is staying hot and steamy out there now in mid-July. Hard to believe. Tomorrow will be a 48 First Alert weather day due to the heat and humidity. Let's turn over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for what you need to know. Brad?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. No rain out there, no significant rain. We got one blip there north of Moulton, between there and Town Creek. That's about it, pretty much what we thought. The big story is going to be the heat. Heat advisory goes into effect tomorrow at 10 a.m. through 7 o'clock in the evening. We'll likely see additional heat advisory for Thursday, maybe even Friday. Heat index will be close to 96 by 10 o'clock in the morning. This is about 3 o'clock, right around 103 to 104. Keep in mind, what's going to be different about this is we don't have any clouds. Unless we get some thunderstorms to break the heat, it's going to be brutally hot all day tomorrow. And again, that really stresses your body out with the direct sunlight. And it continues. Here's 8 o'clock, and I think we're probably going to be down around 100, but still, it lasts all day. 10 o'clock in the evening, still looking at heat index in the low 90s. Current temperatures here this afternoon around 3:15. Look at it, low to mid 90s, so it's very hot out there today, so make sure you're staying hydrated. First Alert weather days Wednesday, Thursday for the heat. A few thunderstorms out there, but not enough to break the heat. And then scattered thunderstorms. I think the heat will be suppressed somewhat as we get into Friday. So stay hydrated. We've been talking about this for several days. We're also watching an area tropical development that may happen in the Gulf. I'll have more on that at 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, and make sure you're staying hydrated. I got my bottle right here. You cannot get enough water during mid-July, during this hot stretch of weather that we're seeing here. But also, don't forget 48 First Alert Weather Extra. That's a live stream we're doing tonight at 9:30. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis will be back here in the CTV Center, and he'll have all the latest that he is seeing on the radar. So don't forget, 9:30, you can watch it wherever you're watching Before the Four right now. And if you feel led to, leave a comment for Brad. He always has a great time with it. So don't forget Weather Extra, of course. But now a story out of the Sand Mountain region. The victim in a deadly motorcycle crash in Ider has now been identified. State troopers say the crash involved a motorcycle and a John Deere farm tractor near the intersection of Alabama 75 and County Road 134. The motorcyclist was identified as 61-year-old Avery Weathers. He was pronounced dead at the scene, and state troopers are continuing to investigate the cause of the crash. Very sad story there, but now in Madison, where earlier we learned about a burglary at Bob Jones High School. A burglar broke into Bob Jones High School and reportedly stole several items last week. A spokesperson for Madison City Schools says some arrests were made and some of the items were returned to the school. It's not clear what exactly was taken and if everything was returned. A Madison police spokesperson confirmed the break-in and said one person was apprehended. We're told told more details on this situation are coming. We'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online as we learn more. But now we are going to take a quick break, but coming up, a few stories in case you missed them. A local Tennessee Valley group heading to Texas to help flood victims. It's all ahead. I'll see you all in 1 minute. All right, we are back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Before the Four. Now, a story out of Huntsville. Huntsville Hospital is looking to establish freestanding emergency departments in the Hampton Cove area, along with North Huntsville. 48's Callie Neese with the details.
Not only does this plan include 2 new freestanding ERs, but includes an expansion, adding 6 beds to an existing ER in Madison. Huntsville Hospital President and CEO Jeff Sams told me that they still need state approval to build the freestanding ERs. He says all freestanding emergency departments are regulated by the state, but Sams told me he's confident that the state will approve these new builds. Sam adds that the upgrades in Madison are already underway because that does not need state approval.
So we're also lucky to live in a growing community, and Huntsville's just thriving. With all the new people in town, we got to make sure everybody can have access to emergency services when they need them.
Sam says this $60 million project is to make sure that emergency services are available to everyone in the Rocket City, no matter how much growth we see.
You know, the trauma center in Huntsville, as a lot of people in the community know, gets very, very busy. So this will be more convenient both for people who use these new facilities, but also taking pressure off of the main ER.
He adds finding staff may be a challenge for these new freestanding ERs, but he has a plan.
We will work with the local community colleges and with our workforce team to continue bringing in physicians and clinical staff. There's no question that's a challenge.
If everything goes as planned, Sam's hopes that they have designs finished by this winter and can start construction as early as next spring. Reporting in Huntsville, Callie Neese, 48 News, on your side.
And now another story in case you missed it. Local groups are heading west to the Lone Star State to help victims and their families recover after the flooding in the area. 48's Noah Cowell reports.
Decatur Fire and Fort Payne Fire sent 1 technical rescue specialist each, while Guntersville sent 2 to Texas to join Alabama's Task Force 3, something they say gives them a lot of pride as they represent their departments in a time of need.
All these guys, they prepare for this, and then when called upon, I mean, it gives them a chance to really go and help those that are in need right now.
Fort Payne Fire Chief Stacy Smith says his specialist, Taylor Mitchell, has already been in Texas for 2 days, where he and the group have searched houses and other areas for potential survivors. Efforts were hampered Monday by even more rain falling over the weekend. He says they will send as many crew the state requires for relief, just as when they sent several specialists last fall after Hurricane Milton.
A lot of these guys are just waiting. Are we going to get to go next round? Or are they going to put in an additional request? It's just a real bad situation out there, and we just ask for everybody to pray for the victims out there.
Both task forces will be spending long days in relief and could be there up to 14 days. And if the state requests more assistance, they say they won't hesitate.
With additional rain that's come in, and we don't know how long this deployment will last, but we'll have personnel ready. All these departments will if another deployment is needed. The personnel stand ready to respond, and we just wish them safe travels and keep them in your prayers.
Well, now today is day 2 of SEC football media days in Atlanta, Georgia, and that means today is definitely the day to tune in if you are an Auburn Tigers fan, as today was their day to take to the podium along with the Georgia Bulldogs, Texas Longhorns, and of course, the Tennessee Volunteers. Tonight at 6:30, wherever you're watching before the 4 right now, you can hear from 48 Sports Director Carl Prather for a full recap of what went down today, now in day 2 of SEC Media Days. The show tonight at 6:30, it's all sponsored by Huntsville Trucks, and you're just not going to want to miss it. And speaking of the things you're just not going to want to miss, let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. 3 people were taken to the hospital after a stabbing in Scottsboro. 48's Callie Neese will have those details coming up. The latest on ICE raids we're currently seeing here in the Yellowhammer State. And finally, the latest details regarding an Alabama A&M student who was allegedly shot in the back by police in Homewood. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. And it is 3:51. That means it is time for, you guessed it, Facebook fun and our 48 Facebook question of the day. What is your favorite thing about North Alabama in the summertime? And I know we got a lot of comments from you all that said your favorite thing about North Alabama in the summertime is your AC unit. And honestly, I cannot disagree with that. I take a lot of pride in my AC, and I crank my AC up very, very low, or very high, I guess, here in the summertime. But let's see what else you all had to say. Let's see the mountains and all the lakes that are in north part of Bama. Gunnersville is a beautiful place to visit, especially the state park. That was from Debbie. Awesome comment there. It is very pretty up here in North Alabama, especially Gunnersville. Roger said we're getting closer to fall. That means the pumpkin spice season's coming up, the football season coming up. That's something to look forward to, 100%. Keith said when it's over. No, I love summer, but I can understand where you're coming from, Keith. Chris said the smell of freshly mowed grass. I don't know about you all, but that is a very nostalgic smell. It reminds me of growing up. I would always smell that fresh cut grass. Drinking ices, Christian, 100%. That is a great thing about the summertime. Pamela said the live music at outdoor venues when the sun goes down. Of course, you have concerts in the park. A lot of musicians are going on tour in the summertime. Gotta love it. Jamie Beamer said staying indoors. 100%. You are staying cool indoors. Nothing wrong with that. And then Hank said his AC. Of course, a very popular comment today on our 48 Facebook question. Mariah said paddleboard the Flint. I would love to do that. I don't live too far from the Flint River. I would love to go paddleboarding, kayaking. I talked to some of my coworkers and some people around North Alabama. They say they go kayaking on the Flint quite often. So I would love to do that. That would be incredible. But you all had such awesome comments on our 48 Facebook question today. Thank you all for leaving a comment. But that is just about it for today's Before the 4. Thank you all for sticking around and spending just a bit of your Tuesday afternoon here. I hope you all have a great night tonight. Enjoy tonight's evening newscasts. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all have a great night.